And blessings, family, sister Ajali. Wow, the irony, just like I had to say something, and I hope I won't take too long with this. But apparently, Susan, whoa, good. I could just mangle that name, and I have no problem with it, even though I I mean no well, some people just you don't feel anything for them because they're so just brutal and cruel in their lifetime. And the saying is, if you can't say anything nice when someone dies, don't say anything at all. But I'm not here to have stated that I wished, and I never did. I never wished Susan Wojcicki something any harm whatsoever while she was alive. Her there's stuff that happened to her while she was still here that I'm not going to delve into, but her son committed suicide, which I find horrible for anybody to have to experience. And it was her only child, I do believe. So I thought that was a horror, even though I did wonder if it had been one of them ritual murders that they don't need to ritually murder anybody right now because of the Fukushima fallout, which is still spewing everywhere, and the FDA is making daggone sure it's on everybody's plates, including the white people. And so I don't know where Susan lived, but she just died of lung cancer on Friday after only a 2-year battle with the disease. And so, oh, native California, there you go. Oh my God. Let's just roll through the pictures of those fires that happened several years back now. And there have been new fires, but you ain't seeing this. Well, this is out in New York where I was, I'm in New Jersey. But yeah, I think that's more, and that's near in Canada where the fires were. But when Trump was back president and those fires first kicked off, he actually called for a helicopter, the only radiation detecting helicopter that is owned by the United States government. He ordered it to fly above Washington, D.C. I knew what that was about. That's because the orange skies were happening and Trump wanted to know how much of that radiation was coming over. That's why they have to push all of their perversions on the whole world. And the quote says specifically, the Talmud states that the Messiah will only come in an age that is completely guilty or completely innocent. And from this epigram, the Frankists would declare, since we cannot all be saints, so let us all be sinners. That's why they're forcing all this stuff so rapidly to depravity, because Fukushima fallout has left them no more time. Whereas before they would, sort of take a long time to convince the world that, yes, you should just be fixated on hedonism, sex, and, gluttony. Now, it's like we got to get it out there, right? So that the world is sort of rejecting it on a certain level, but they're now going to drag it with folks like Susan to a level of tyranny where they have no choice but to enact that because we're not cooperating the way that they want us to. But Allah's the best of planners, because according to and I'm not just blaming that one particular group of folks that every white person just really loves to blame when they are such fierce participants in the carnage that has been waged on the entire planet. I'm sure most of these nuclear physicists who are going along with the deluge of radiation, using it as a targeted genocidal weapon, same as with the smallpox and the poison blankets, at Black Us using various strategies such as the CMOS and the radioactive rice grown in Fukushima being given for free, forget directed, given for free to, at the outset, solely Black nations. And they've added a couple brown ones, all right, probably because I've been highlighting it so much. And then the latest one where they're giving canned salmon when the salmon population has plummeted so much that they're shooting the sea lions. Because the sea lions they're so greedy, them damn sea lions. Why are they so mean? They deserve just to be shot willy-nilly. I thought these dudes love nature. They want to protect nature. But no, it's like the buffalo where they shot them from the trains to the point where they were almost completely extinct. And now they're doing the same thing to the sea lions because supposedly they're eating up all the salmon. But they're giving free canned salmon away to poor women and children who are on social services, get food stamps because they're that hungry. So women like that aren't going to be, finding information such as I share. More than likely, they're not. Right? It's not that they're not capable of understanding. Most people know, don't drink Drano. It's real easy. Don't eat radiation. And they're not going to tell you. Now, what's that all to do with Susan? I'm just rolling through. Because first off, she lived in California. So she was breathing these suckers in. I was just being funny right here. Look how this is called cesium skies. And you haven't seen the like of it since, even though they're fires, because this is what was trapped in the vegetation, in the foliage, in the inorganic matter, even that was burnt to crisp. It was burnt that furiously, not because of directed energy weapons, but because of the fury of radiation. That's why when nuclear bombs are dropped, they're so obliterating, because the radiation is that active. It's that hot. It's fire on an atomic level. It's the fire, as Allah said he was sent. He wouldn't send a flood, but he's sending the radiation. Okay, you could do something about the radiation, as my research has confirmed, and I wrote a book about it. Because giving away what nobody else is not helpful if I'm going to further the power of my warning by eventually being able to buy equipment to test our food. Someone who works this actively, and despite the fact they took away my giant channel, Susan took away my giant channel, right? And she was the CEO of YouTube. She approved all the censorship policies. She even got caught on camera saying to a rapper, "Oh, you only have 20,000 subscribers? Oh, we got to do something about that. We got to, like bump you up." They have the whole thing algorithmically rigged. And so they know what voices they want to get out there and which ones they don't. And so I know that before all the social media got started, we used to share because nobody is censoring our ability to just do what needs to be done. And this isn't just going to affect Susan. This is affecting our children, your children. When you feed them food, you may not be taking them for any more jabs ever. Hallelujah. That's a wonderful thing. But you're going to be feeding them, I hope. Well, what's in each item you're serving to them? And do you believe the lie of CMOS? Because that CMOS, I've shown the graph of just, it absorbs thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times more radiation than what would be in the surrounding seawater. But it's not the only thing. Obviously, looking at these orange skies that absorbs radiation. This man's walking calmly. He's not worried about a fire that's down the street. This was coming from tens of probably 100 miles away. California is really big. but that radiation reached them. It reached them. Ain't no fire. You don't see no flames anywhere around here. Okay? But we don't see that anymore. No matter where there's a fire, the sky is blue. Well, Susan was living up in that jammer. And her and the majority of billionaires, now I'm not, because there's billionaires all over the United States, but the largest percentage live right on up in California because these fools are arrogant as hell. Arrogance can be a mental disorder that is experienced by an entire population, an entire race of people. Studying the Chinese, I'm like, how in the world did they get fooled into starvation's coming to China real soon, like epic starvation, like they used to have back during the dynasties, right? How do they make this mistake century after century? Right now, some dynasties lasted for centuries. I'm saying, how do they wind up getting in the same conundrum? Because they're arrogant. That arrogance will just bite you in the tail, Noah Lyles, and you'll have a sense that you are superior to all them little people who don't matter. Well, if China would let the little people free, they would still be economically viable, but everything's fallen so that even their elites are being gobbled up by the graft and corruption and the out and out banditry, the thuggery of the CCP, of the people in charge. I don't even want to just secret it or segregate it to just the CCP when it just seems to be their nature. Well, it's the same nature of the Europeans and those derived from Europeans, where they look down on everybody else and they orchestrate all these little schemes and plans and they censor everything. And there's whole words to describe it: tyranny, despoticism. Nobody else talks about stuff like that. If you're black, I'm saying, in one of the ancient races, there wasn't any tyrannies going on. Same with the homosexuality. We didn't have those words in our languages because we didn't practice that stuff. It made no damn sense to steal everything and then watch your neighbor just starve to death. And you're like, okay with that? That's because you have arrogance, and your arrogance is based on nothing. It's based on just needing to feel adored and worshiped. So you will take advantage of anybody and anything you can in order to protect your fragility inside that keeps telling you you ain't a damn thing. So they got 186 dumb billionaires still up in here. Elon Musk is hightailing it out. All the insurance companies, they're getting out of there. All these retail companies, they're getting out there, but they're not telling their people why and what's going on. They're just probably saying, well, you might want to get out. And they're giving them all sorts of reasons to get on out. But as I said, y'all, all you need to leave. You just need to leave. I'm not saying that the radiation is saturated, everything, but what's going on the West Coast, it is off the chart. Everything that has died in massive numbers started out on the West Coast. And I'm saying all the way up to Canada, where Dana Durnford and his dinghy boat went on up there and documented that British Columbia looks like Mars. The coastline looks like Mars. It was once the most life-abundant coastline in the whole daggone world. Why? Because of a very warm Kuroshi current that comes straight from Japan right on up to the British Columbia coastline. It's all dead. The most abundant coastline in the world. God damn. And I'm sure you notice the insect apocalypse, where there was a whole beach where there was like locusts by the billions just swarming the beach, We got lantern flies all over because the critters that would ordinarily be eating the larvae or the, just when they're little eggs, they're gone. So all of these other bugs are infesting everything. And the diet is changing everything. And because of chicks like Susan, you don't hear voices like mine. I'm not the only anti-nuclear. I'm the only Black one, okay, who is doing the research, writing books. I mean, seriously. And just never stops. I'm investigating it to the level of hazard that it is. Anything with these many vectors of destruction cannot just be explained in a day, even in 15 minutes, even though I should, right? And so for our truth, which I could be having a debate with the most highly paid nuclear physicist out there. And if he's pro-nuclear, I will make him cry. Little housewife me in Newark, will make his buttless self cry. Okay? So Susan would have done better listening to me. Right? Now, I don't know if this because that they even had on the weather forecast. They consulted these lion scientists and doctors because they don't want to be sued. In California, they got little signs on the seafood displays. The California government has discovered that there are certain chemicals they'll use, these little words to obscure stuff, that are in seafood products which can cause cancer. And we just want to warn you about it to put it up on a McDonald's window, right? Especially if I guess you're getting a fish sandwich, but don't get anything from McDonald's because if you are eating meat, you're getting it goes up the food chain. You're getting a higher level of radiation. There are methods to get this stuff out of your body. Go on over here to 25,000yearcycle.org. And I'm not joking. Folks like me, we don't play games with you. We tell you the truth because we're so sick of the lies that we dedicate our lives to fighting on your behalf. And I don't mean physically violent like the satanic elite would love for you to think. Anybody who questions their genocidal ways must be a genocider. Oh, duh. How does that make sense? Okay. No, we're the peacemakers. They're the warmongers. They're the fearmongers, right? I did the research so I could find the solutions. So you can come on over here to the shop. You could call, let's chat, talk to Dr. She, and you are going to find the healing that stays with you for life, right? And you could come here to Ajali Shabazz, and it'll go directly to my products to the silk hair, which stays amazing, okay? I love that stuff. It's just so good. It's not even my bestseller, but I don't stop making it because I'm like, this stuff is so good. I can't stop making it, okay? And then my soap is incredible. What I love, and I thank all of you who've ordered and who then reorder. I love that because that means you got it and you used it and you're like, dang, this soap is amazing. You're daggone tootin' because I research every single one of the ingredients. Each one of these bars does a separate just activity on your skin for your health and healing. And I use pure ingredients, intensified ingredients, so that if you were to go and buy what I put in this soap in another soap, that soap would be costing you like, this is for 3 is $25. It would be costing you $50 a bar, maybe 25 a bar. Let's say that. I'm just saying, I'm not putting the price up right now. They're putting their prices up like ridiculously, so I'm actually holding it steady at 25. I can't say I'll always be able to do that because I'm not an idiot, but I'm just saying this is extraordinary. But I have my novels, This Black Nation, which is the sequel to This Black, which is an extraordinary story, and this one right here, Furnace of Affliction. That's where I put what I found, which is the remedies to the radiation deluge. Because there are ways that once your body is fortified, it stops absorbing the radiation altogether. That's what they found through their research. Okay, so let me get on out of here because I don't want this to be longer, but there's more that you can come on in 25,000yearcycle.org and find even just the joy of knowing there's some good Black people out here, mighty Black people out here who know you deserve the very best. Straight Black pride, exercise in submission to Allah's commands, gives us the deed to forever love you. Peace and blessings.